All right, so what was the origin of you and William Thomas Dean coming together to collaborate on this story?
So I got the script from Tim and Trevor White, our EPs at Star Thrower, and I remember reading Tom's script and really digging it, but yet there were aspects of it that I just felt like for me to direct it, I'd want to change a little bit. Sure. When I read, I was primarily focused on his first act. I was like loving it so much. I was like, but Oliver in his draft he was described as almost a Kennedy-like guy with a Rolex, a nice suit, and a Mercedes-Benz. And I thought, that doesn't resonate with me, especially this little country girl. Yeah. I thought, what if he was in a Canadian tuxedo, so denim top to bottom? What if he drove a muscle car, an American car that ripped and had a low bass rumble as it went, that made a lot more sense to me. So Tom and I got in and sort of started tweaking the second and third act to shape that out more. And once we got into production and had cast Sam and Kyle, Tom went to direct a movie called Charlie Harper, so I had a little bit more freedom just to tweak it and modify it even for Sam and Kyle, which I did. And it was organic in that I had the actors, I had Tom, I had time, and we were able to just make those modifications to like what you see now.
Perfect. So what intrigued Samara Weaving about the character enough to want to portray Caroline, and what qualities did she give the character that surprised you beyond the page?
I mean, I don't want to speak for Sam, but I think, but we've done this enough that I think I can say. I think she saw an opportunity to do something different in a space that was different than a lot of the work that she's done. Right. I mean, and I love her in films like Ready or Not. And Ready or Not 2, I absolutely think she's an awesome scream queen. But this gave her an ability to do something more dramatic, and I think that she was ready, willing, and able to jump on that train. And she really loved Kyle in Dinner in America, right. And I think the opportunity to for us to all partner together, that was exciting for her. I met with her early on, to cast this thing. I met with her and we had breakfast, and I just remember how I was she just felt really real, and she came in no makeup or anything like that. She was very dressed down, and I just remember thinking she just felt like a kind of like an every girl to me, and I thought that people would be able to identify with her as Caroline.
So the Bonnie and Clyde scenario has been a popular American story theme. What do you think is different about Oliver and Caroline and their love and larceny versus the larger mythos as the romance of Bonnie and Clyde?
I mean, I think that sort of outlaw romance thing is baked into it, but just like rock music or anything, it's your own take on it and how you handle it. And I have to say, the chemistry in this movie is through the roof with Kyle and Sam together. I agree. So it's more for me about nuance and what they're going to bring to the table than it is per se it's I like this trope. I like that space. Yeah. I've been looking for a way to basically do a 70s type of road movie, but I hadn't thought of the framework for it, and so here comes a script that Tom has that has the framework for it, and so then it's really us putting our spin on it and putting our own flavor and texture. Now a lot of films could do this, and maybe it's True Romance or A Wild at Heart. Those are two films that kind of had done the Bonnie and Clyde or Badlands kind of thing before.
Or Dinner in
America. But a lot of those have a lot of gunplay. And I'll say in our movie, there's only a single shot fired. Right. But there's a certain weight to a single shot versus and being aware of that when you go into it. It's I'm going to fire the gun once, and it's going to mean something huge instead of shootouts where there's dozens and dozens of bullets flying everywhere, and it's a whole thing. There's one shot fired in this movie, and it means something insanely heavy, So being aware of that and being conscious of that is a design element, putting your own spin on it, having chemistry that's through the roof with two leads. I don't know. People say that every story's been done. It's really how you put your spin on it. I'm fine with that because this is a trope that I dig.
Well, it's themes and approaches to themes. According to the interwebs, you haven't designated what year the film is set in, but obviously it is before the common use of mobile phones. What makes a story like this more substantial in its setting, and what is your opinion? And how, in your opinion, has mobile phones changed the way stories have to be told in current settings?
So, more so than the mobile phone aspect of it was, I felt like this movie needed to be prior to 9/11 because once 9/11 happens, CCTV just blows up. Every corner has cameras. Every gas station, everything, and I just was like, it is exponentially harder to rob a bank and get away with it in 2026 than it was in 2001.
Yeah.
And by setting it in the rural kind of back roads, their takes are very small. We're looking at $10,000 to $15,000 a pull. Like they're not going to a crazy place with this. It's so they're not trying to get in the vault and have like some kind of heat style mega haul, when it's very practical. It's like this whole concept. We've seen it before. You get in and out in 60 seconds before like the police really are getting the notification. You just take a little bit and you go and you get away. And they have a great plan to switch the car. They're in a different car. They have a wig. She looks different. In a minute or two, it's a different couple driving, and it's a totally different scenario. So that felt believable in the context of like the very rural places that we're choosing to shoot the film in.
Very good. What did Kira Sedgwick understand about her brief scene that created a new transition for Caroline or a new sense of tragedy about her life?
I think that scene was untouched. Of all the things that we didn't touch in the movie, that scene remains the only thing that was sort of untouched because it really is the transition into the third act. It really helps us motivate Caroline to, like, as she said, fuck it, let's rob the whole world. When she experiences that with her mom, she goes to a darker place that's the catalyst for everything like falling apart.
Interesting. This is set in a more modern American South. What do you believe is most Southern about the story, and what do you think is most American?
I mean, I feel like the faces in this movie, the sort of the ancillary characters that we're along for, they feel very correct for the space that we're in the South. So I'm proud of that. I feel like our casting is really good. And also, too, like the locations, the rural sensibilities. Like, Francesca, my production designer, Jean-Philippe Bernier, who shot the film, Annie and Hannah, who did costumes, we were all like hyper aware of that and like really made it a point to make those things feel like, we shot everything in Kentucky, so we're not in the real South, and we are cheating. And we're cheating it for Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. We're cheating it for Carolina, we're Texas, and so. We have one state to do all of that with, so it's all about scouting and like finding the places that trick your mind. When that muscle car comes whipping down through something, and we're like sort of there's that shot where it's like on the train tracks and it kind of turns. It's like you want it to feel like you're really in those spaces, even though it's all an illusion.
How about the most American aspect of the story?
I mean, we've always had a red, white, and blue theme with everything that we do, like on the last 3 movies that we've done together. So I think that this sort of completes the trilogy, if you will, between Dinner in America, Snack Shack, and this. They all have this red, white, and blue theme. I mean, even in the titles of this, we're committing fully to that. JP is from Montreal. and he's obsessed with Coca-Cola, the bright red primary colors of the flag, and it's we're always trying to inject that into everything, like from a design, like a macro design of it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So in many instances in the film, Caroline's boss, the man on the train, and Caroline's father, their kindness makes them dupes. In the definition of the lifestyle that Oliver brings to Caroline, are those who follow the rules the dupes of society? And is that reflected in the government that the country elected?
Yeah, that might be a smarter question than I can answer, but I feel like Oliver sums it up best when he gives her the analogy to, like, stealing a pack of gum. Like, who are you stealing with? You're stealing it from shareholders. You're stealing it from people that pay less in taxes than you do working 2 jobs. So right. I feel like there is, I wouldn't say Oliver views people as being suckers, but I think that he realizes the American dream is quite broken and that it's unattainable, and that if you want to attain it, just like those that cheat to attain it, you have to be one of those people that are willing to do something. You can't just plug in somewhere for 40 years and expect them not to cut your job. You can't, like he sees the angle.
That's wild. That's good. Your career has been a series of risks, celebrating outsiders and taking it to the limit and expressing their anarchy. What in your background makes you empathize with these types of people that others dismiss as useless or not worth acknowledging?
Well, I've always felt like an outsider. I mean, I think that I identify with the misfits and the outsiders and underdogs, and I love a good underdog story. I mean, my favorite might actually be Rocky. I think it's just, I still cry every time I watch that movie. Yeah. It's so good. I just identify, and I want to root for characters that, either that are misfits in society or underdogs in some way. I mean, I think that those are especially if they have something to say. I think really that's. Those things are worth fighting for. The character is worth fighting for.
Excellent. So I've expressed my love for Dinner in America, and it made me happy to see that long line in Chicago when it played at the Music Box. What is your reflection on its journey from pandemic release to John Waters to a viral sensation to a cult theatrical run? What does this all mean to you in the context of what has happened to us in the last 10 years, I guess? And with your career going side by side with it.
It did change my trajectory in some way of like what I want to achieve as a filmmaker through the process of so much interacting with these fans. I think that at one point I was getting between 600 and 700 DMs every day from fans, and that's really wild.
It is crazy.
And so there's a sort of obligation when you're in my position, I feel like, to please your fans. You want to make films that people are going to love, and I don't really care as much about a wider mainstream audience as I care about the people, those misfits and those outsiders that I love, because the Dinner in America fans are the best fans in the world. They're the fans that love horror films and genre films and exploitation movies, and they love punk rock, and they love good music, and what I mean? They're like the best of the best fans. So I feel like I don't want to disappoint them or let them down, with the work that I do. So they're always on my mind, and I've just met so many incredible people through this that I don't know would be possible without that movie doing what it did in this sort of weird viral thing that happened. But now when I go to the shows, I mean, they really energize me and pump me up, and I love them all so much. In fact, I give away tickets. I gave away a lot of Carolina tickets to the premiere, to fans of Dinner in America, versus you could have anybody in those spots. But, it's like I want to make sure that there's at least, a handful of those diehard, Dinner in America fans that are getting to see the movie too. But I don't know, it's just it inspires me. It inspires me to keep going, and it inspires me to keep the work at the highest level possible, you know?
That's what a journey, brother.
Yeah.
Finally, what's the first thing you think about when you think about your love for storytelling and creating it as a filmmaker?
What's the first thing I think about?
When you think about your love for that.
Maybe that just it came from the purest place possible, that it wasn't motivated by money or something like that, that like I actually love telling stories. Even when I was a little boy, I would fold over paper and make my own books, like kind of like comic books, and draw everything and write the prose. And I had cool teachers that recognized that when I was in elementary school and would allow for me to do that while everybody else was doing other things. They were like, well, he likes to do that. Let's let him do that and see what happens. And so I had cool teachers that were like, that would let me, like, I remember I would do these, do you remember Choose Your Own Adventure books?
Sure.
So like when those were popular, I think all of my little books, they weren't, I would make some that had like Choose Your Own Adventure things, but they were also serialized in a way that I would do parts 1 through 15, 20, Incredible. 30, 40, and I would put them all like in a row around the perimeter of the this would be like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, and the teachers would allow the other students to go and read them and stuff. So I'm doing this at a very early age, and just maybe the fact that like some teachers saw that and were like, hey, maybe it's not a bad thing, because if enough good things like that happen in your life where people let you it's sort of nonconformist in some way, but like if they let you get away with it, then you think you can get away with it, and and then you just apply that, you just keep applying it to other things that you do, and I think that's a huge part of I think that stories for me come from a really pure place. So when they come from the purest place, I think you have to tell them, you have to do it.
This is Patrick McDonald for HollywoodChicago.com. Copyright 2026.